Kobe Bryant is one of the greatest basketball players that's ever played. On July 1st, 2014, he posted a picture on social media of him holding a jersey. The caption read, "On this day, 18 years ago, right after I was drafted, the Charlotte Hornets basketball team told me they had no use for me and traded me." He had a pleasant smile on his face. After being told that he wasn't useful, he went on to win 5 world championships. He was an all-star 18 times, 4 times the most valuable player in the league, 2 times the scoring champion, on and on. But I wonder what would have happened if he had let that phrase constantly play. You're not useful, you're not talented, you're not good enough. That could have kept him from his destiny. You know what Kobe did? Delete. That's not going on my recording. I know who I am. I am valuable. I am talented. I have what it takes. He understood this principle. You cannot replay negative, defeating, limiting words and reach your highest potential. Words are powerful. They're like seeds. When we believe them, when we dwell on them, they'll take root. They can grow and become what was said. And that's great when it's positive, but every person has negative words spoken over them. People try to hold you back. People try to discourage you. Do like him. Delete it and become who God created you to be. I know a minister, when he was younger, he traveled with this older, very well-known minister. He was his assistant and went with him everywhere. And even though he was in the background, he believed one day he would have a prominent ministry. But being in the shadows of this other minister that was very popular and very talented, he had to fight intimidation and thoughts telling him that he didn't have what it takes. Well, one night after this large meeting, a very prominent, well-known city leader came behind the stage looking for the main minister, but he had already left. The young minister saw him and asked if he could help him. That city leader said, "Well, I wanted the main minister to pray about a situation in my family." Well, the young minister's eyes lit up. He said, "I can pray for you." The man shook his head and said, "No, son, you won't do." Those words were like a dagger. He was already insecure. He already doubted whether he could do it. He made the mistake of letting that phrase become a part of his recording. Over and over, "You won't do. You don't have what it takes," year after year. Anytime he tried to step up and got his courage, those words would play louder and louder. One day, he did what I'm asking you to do. He realized that people don't determine our destiny. Negative words spoken over you only have power if you give them power, if you believe them. He hit the delete button and started a new recording. I am anointed. I am talented. I am exceptional. I am favored. I can do all things through Christ. He changed the recording. New doors began to open. He went on to become a very prominent minister as well. But years later, that city leader that told him he wouldn't do, that man invited this minister to come speak at a very prestigious gathering. And some of the people that are dismissing you, not giving you the credit, trying to make you feel less than, don't worry, one day they're going to want what you have. God is preparing a table in the presence of your enemies. The key is to not let the negative words become a part of your recording. You have to get good at hitting the delete button. It may have been from people that should have been speaking faith into you. A parent, a coach, a colleague. They should have been encouraging you. Instead, they told you what you couldn't become, how you don't measure up. Quit dwelling on it. Quit replaying it. They don't know what God put in you. And sometimes the people that said it, they have their own issues. They're insecure. They have a wrong recording. They're just passing it on. Don't take it personally. Delete it and keep playing what God says about you. Hey, you don't have what it takes. Delete. I am fully loaded and totally equipped. Well, you're just average. You don't have much to offer. Delete. I'm one of a kind. I'm exceptional. The enemy wouldn't be trying to stop you if he didn't know something amazing was in your future. He will use negative words, how you were treated, people trying to leave you out, discount you, to try to get that negative recording started. He knows there is nothing more powerful than what you believe about yourself. Don't let what someone said make you feel less than. That's been playing long enough. It's time to put on a new recording. You are equipped. You are empowered. God calls you a masterpiece. If anyone calls you anything different, delete it. You have to protect your recording. Don't let it become contaminated. I've learned nobody can make you think something. They can't make you feel inferior, make you feel not talented. You have to give them permission by believing it. Now quit permitting what you should be deleting. You wouldn't let anyone come into your house. If a stranger knocked on the door and you open it and here he is holding a can of dynamite or a cup of poison or he had a rattlesnake, you wouldn't say, come on in, make yourself at home. You would shut that door so fast, lock it, make sure he couldn't get in. What are you allowing in your mind? Are you welcoming poison, negative words spoken over you? Are you making at home lies, telling you you're not talented, you're not going to get well, not break the addiction? Why don't you start closing the door to your mind? The scripture says to guard your mind. You have to be selective about what you allow in. A few years ago, we had a couple of rabbits at home. They were in our backyard in a fenced-in area. And I noticed one didn't look like he was feeling well. He kept rubbing the side of his face. Took him to the veterinarian and gave us some antibiotics and said that he should get better. We tried that for a week, but it didn't help. The rabbit's face began to swell up, and he developed this huge growth right on top of his nose. I took him back to the veterinarian. They examined him more. They discovered that a fly had laid an egg, and somehow it had got up into the rabbit's nasal passage, and now that larva was growing and about to hatch. Once they got to the root of the problem, they removed it, and the rabbit was fine. That's what the enemy tries to do. He will plant lies in your mind to try to infect your thinking. You're not good enough. You're not attractive. You'll never meet the right person. You'll never accomplish that dream. We can try to fix the outside, but until we get to the root of the problem, until we get the infection out and get rid of that wrong recording, it will continue to limit us. Why don't you feel good about yourself? Why won't you pursue that dream? Why do you go around guilty? If you'll trace it back, you'll find there's a stronghold in your mind. Something has convinced you that you've made too many mistakes. God can't bless you. You don't have the talent. You can't start the business. That person walked out of a relationship. They said you weren't worth loving. Those are lies that you've allowed. The good news is you can get rid of them. You don't have to spend another minute being infected by wrong thinking. I have the perfect prescription. If you will start playing what God says about you, that infection will begin to go away. It will heal the places that have been hurt. Instead of dwelling on what somebody said, how they made you feel inferior, when you dwell on, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, I am a masterpiece, the infection starts to clear up. Instead of playing that recording, you won't do, you're not good enough, I am talented, I am creative, I am one of a kind. Those thoughts bring healing. Whatever has held you back, you have the prescription. Delete the lies and start taking your medicine. Start playing what God says about you. You were not created to go through life infected. You were created to be free, secure, confident, healthy, blessed, successful. Rise up and become who God made you to be.